This ghost town was once a Soviet health resort that attracts people from all over the USSR. There are numerous abandoned Stalin sanatoriums here. These buildings still impress with their beauty and grandeur. Huge crystal chandeliers, swarms of palaces, almost untouched by time. But now, these once gorgeous Soviet buildings are slowly being taken over by nature. The walls are crumbling and valuable artifacts are being stolen by looters. And the most incredible thing is that people live in these abandoned and forgotten buildings. Tskaltubo is a small town of the western side of Georgia. In the past it was a popular resort destination during Soviet times. Even Stalin was treated here in one of now abandoned sanatoriums. Tskaltubo has traces of rich history and unique natural beauty. The ghost town attracts with its tranquility, fascinating ruins and mysterious radon springs. I'll show you all these places myself and take you there to let you see them with your own eyes. Tskaltubo is located just 8 kilometers from Kutaisi, Georgia's third largest city, and easily accessible by taxi or marshutka, a type of public transportation similar to a roaded taxi in post-Soviet countries. It takes less than half an hour and costs about 2 Georgian lari, about $1. There are 17,000 people living in the town, so it's a quiet and relaxing place to visit. Tskaltubo has been known for its healing mineral springs since the 7th century, according to a legend. A shepherd discovered the healing properties of the local water when he had intense pain in the legs. He dipped them in the warm springs and the pain magically disappeared. He told everyone in the village about his amazing discovery, and that's how the healing powers of Tskaltubo got their name. The magic water also helped Queen Tamara of Georgia with her joint pain, and soon the first medical practices started there. It has incredible beauty, a picturesque place and a subtropical climate, and in general it's very pleasant to be here. No wonder in 1920 the construction of the first sanatorium began, and in 1937 Joseph Stalin came here to rest and heal his legs. He liked the place so much that soon he gave an order to each ministry of the USSR to build a sanatorium here. And then the royal competition for a more magnificent, beautiful and large-scale architectural project began. The best architects of the USSR took part in its construction. In total 19 sanatoriums, numerous medical complexes and a resort park were built. Soon in the 1950s, Tskaltubo became one of the main Soviet health resorts. This place was so popular that before the collapse of the USSR, there were direct express trains from Moscow with a huge number of tourists and vacationers. The trip here was a sign of high status, and all because the water in the local springs is rich in radon. Radon is a radioactive gas useful for treatment of joints and many other illnesses, although the very fact of radon treatment has not been scientifically proven. Almost the entire territory on which the town is located is a huge park. It occupies 1/3 of the Tskaltubo. The park area includes swimming pools with water constantly flowing from underground sources. It feels like nature has defeated man here. Trees grow everywhere, only somewhere on the outskirts of the park the trees begin. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Tskaltubo resort fell into disrepair and turned into a ghost town. When the borders appeared, people almost stopped coming and the town was deserted. Health resorts have practically ceased to function. Since the 1930s of the last century, Tskaltubo lived exclusively at the expense of sanatorium tourism, and by the standards of the rest of the country, the town lived very well. The shock of the 19th turned out to be the more profound for Tskaltubo. If large Georgian cities and more famous resorts, for example Borjomi, somehow coped with the difficult times of the first years of independence, then Tskaltubo was focused exclusively on servicing vacationers from large cities of the Union, and the flow from them was reduced to zero. And those years can be described in one word: a disaster. Its consequences are still visible in the town: semi-broken buildings of the Soviet period, abandoned parks and cracked gazebos. Now Tskaltubo is a real paradise for lovers of abandoned places, because there are a huge number of them here. All the abandoned sanatoriums are located around the park. One of the most beautiful of preserved is the Medea sanatorium. I want to take a closer look at this beauty. It was a magnificent building of truly stunning beauty, made in the style of Stalinist empire. The sanatorium was built in 1962 and belonged to Central Soyuz, an organization that provides food to residents of the Soviet Union. Photos of the sanatorium could often be seen on postcards in the USSR. From the monumental architecture of the building, it immediately became clear to me that the organization had a large budget. Everything was done insanely expensive, rich and very stylish. Even after many years, the sanatorium was breathtaking. I decided to go around the building and found myself in a cozy courtyard. It struck me that decades later the sculptures had been preserved. It was an incredible sight. Then I went out to the second floor, where there were endless colonnades covered with ivy. The staircase had long been overgrown with moss, but it still looked majestic. I went inside the building. Unfortunately, everything was not so pompous here. Almost all the windows were broken, and the walls were collapsing due to very high humidity. The Medea sanatorium is one of the most famous buildings in Tskaltubo, built in 1962. It was magnificent, the Stalinist empire style, replete with monumentality and luxury. Visiting it, you'll be able to see majestic colonnades, cozy courtyards with preserved sculptures, and a unique fountain. However, over the years the building has fallen into disrepair. Rotten windows and rapidly crumbling walls indicate that time has not scared even these magnificent creations. After spending time in the Medea, you'll be able to feel how nature and history complement each other even despite the desolation. The spirit of antiquity is preserved here, framed by greenery and silence. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Tskaltubo went through hard times. In the 1990s, as a result of armed conflict in Abkhazia, more than 200,000 Georgians left their homes in Abkhazia and fled to Georgia. It was decided to temporarily settle all the refugees in the sanatoriums. But this temporarily has stretched for 30 years, and people are still forced to live there. Quickly enough, everything of value was stolen. They began to build stoves right in sanatoriums, burn expensive Pocky, and disassemble entire buildings into bricks. But you must understand that in that situation there was no other way out. The task was simply to survive. When I was walking to the Medea sanatorium in the park, an old man on the bench called me out. He asked me where I was from, if I liked it here and in general in Georgia. He turned out to be one of those refugees from Abkhazia who was stuck here forever. We chatted for a while, discussed the past of the town, and I went to the sanatorium. Even before approaching the bounded building, the harsh fate of the locals already made me uneasy. The difficult fates of people living in Tskaltubo are intertwined with the history of the town itself. Many refugees continue to live here and hope for stability. Sanatoriums that once provide rest and treatment have now become a place where people try to get on with their lives. Tskaltubo is a place where stories of hope and struggle have been preserved. There is nothing more permanent than temporary. After 30 years, hundreds of families continue to live in semi-abandoned palaces. Despite all the difficulties, Tskaltubo retained its popularity due to its unique radon sources. These waters are rich in minerals and are known for their healing powers, contributing to the treatment of a number of diseases. Research shows that radon waters do have a positive effect on health, although scientific evidence on this issue is still contradictory. Local historians and doctors claim that mineral water helps not only in treatment of chronic diseases, but also in restoring strength after severe operations. This is a place not only for self-treatment, but also for restoration of ties between people and nature, a sense of community. Tskaltubo continues to be a hope for many as the architectural heritage is being restored and medical resorts are being revived. Tskaltubo is not just a town with abundant sanatoriums, it's a living history that preserves memories of the beautiful and sad. Here, nature defeated man, leaving only ruins for reflection. The hope of rebirth continues to live in the hearts of residents and those who once loved this place. They want to revive the town, open new sanatoriums in place of the old ones, but the question remains with the settlers. Residents have long dreamed that the town would regain its former glory. When I was heading to Tskaltubo, I couldn't even imagine the full scale of tragedy of this town. Not only elegant and pompous sanatoriums are abandoned here, but most importantly, people are abandoned here. The only thing that pleases me is that the refugees have a future. New houses have been built especially for them, and I hope that very soon after 30 years the refugees will still be resettled and they will find their full-fledged housing. Tskaltubo is waiting for its time, the time when these dreams will become reality, and the town will be filled with life and tourists again.